Hey, Annie Purdue Olson here, and I am so excited to introduce you to Amy Bissonette. And she has an assessment that she wants to share with you. And her and I had coffee a couple weeks back. And when she talked to me about her assessment and she saw the energy and light in my eyes, she was able to give me insight into myself in a greater way. So I wanted to introduce her to all of you. So, Amy, tell us a little bit about the assessment that you use.
Sure. My business is called Element into Focus. And the assessment is basically we are all designed in the image and likeness of God. And we've got a unique light to share with the world. And there's a way that we don't use that because if you think about, we're the only animal that doesn't come with our colors, but we do. This is a hardware issue. It's the same coloring, textures, design lines, sheen from birth to death. And what we assess is that beautiful God-given bright light. When you wear clothing that supports you, then there is a natural, easy, authentic connection. So in ministry, that is key. In any relationship, that's key. When clothing is a barrier, then people can't get at you. And there's a way that they don't either feel safe, or they don't feel that they can get through to you, or that there's kind of a standoffishness that, quite frankly, frequently happens. People are just kind of, the dress is wearing them as opposed to them wearing the dress.
Mm-hmm.
So
So like what I hear you saying is that what we wear is an expression of who we are, but then it also creates a connection with the people that we're talking to. So how can we be more intentional about that?
Exactly. If you were to look at a zebra and say, "Oh, poor zebra, don't you realize that stripes were so 2 years ago?" You know what's in is spots. And actually some feathers would look real nice around your ears. It's just so ridiculous. But that, especially for women, but men too. We have uniforms, we have intentions that we're trying to present that do us a disservice. They block who we are. And so if you're a zebra, stay in stripes, no matter what the fashion or the people around you are doing. So it's kind of that way. It's the being intentional and knowing yourself. My biggest tip that I love to give, and I go way into it in more of a presentation, but if you put on clothing and close your eyes and then open them, if you see the clothing first, then don't wear it. Because that's what everybody else is going to see. They're going to see your clothing and they're not going to see you. They're going to have to dig to find you. And that's just not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just had such profound experience when I dress in my element, is what we call it. And with the clients that have embraced this work, the connection and authenticity, both with the people that you are with, because they feel your safety, they feel your trustability, they feel your competence without you opening your mouth. And so they feel comfortable, you feel comfortable. There isn't a time when there's that kind of, oh gosh, feels so awkward. And then not to mention the time saving. Everything in your closet goes with everything else. So it's just like a party in there.
Yeah.
Just go grab what you need.
So, I mean, the assessment is really about helping people like express themselves and who they are through color, being comfortable and creating connections through the color, through the patterns, through the textures that they wear, and that fits who they are. So it's not just about, for you, understanding color or patterns or textures that fit for people, but really helping them uncover who they are on the inside. that was what I experienced with you when we had coffee, is it's like, how could you see beyond this? You saw beyond this to something deeper inside of me. And that's part of the work that you do.
That's the key part of the work I do. It's so spiritual. It's calling out that bright light, and there's a reason why. Sometimes it's trauma, sometimes it's rules, sometimes it's just this is what's expected of you. But we get ourselves in containers that we're not created for.
Yeah.
And so it's calling that out. There's natural tendencies. There's 4 different elements, but it's obviously it's a signature. There's nobody that's exactly like anybody else, intentionally by our creative God. So finding exactly what lights you up from the inside, so that everybody can see that bright light is really the whole purpose. That's why I do the work.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to take an assessment like this, how would you walk them through it?
Okay, so the process goes, I would meet with them and explain in more detail what each of these 4 elements are, the personality archetypes associated with them, and the physical characteristic traits. There's about 15 different indicators that kind of show up: how people walk, the cadence of their voice, whether they're a multitasker or not. There's lots of those kinds of things, but the final telltale assessment is under a photographer's light, holding fabric up until the energy comes out the eyes.
Okay.
And I'm not talking woo-woo energy. I'm talking physics. I'm talking God's Holy Spirit light. And then I really do have to just wait for it, because I can't rush it. I have to lean on the Holy Spirit until I tear up, because when I do finally see that beautiful person, it's like turning around a corner and seeing all God's glory.
Yeah.
It's just so moving, just beautiful. So I feel really grateful to get to do this work. So that's the first step, and then trying to integrate that, because it's if it's not integrated, then it's just another piece of information. So I go through someone's closet, we learn by that, then we go shopping, and then we go into each of these what's the best metal for you, and then how does your personality archetype, how is that a strength, and where's kind of your shadow side, that secondary element can come up and not come out very authentically. So there's a lot of education that happens after the assessment's done.
So do you do the assessment and then you walk people through with how to be brilliant in their life, would be my words. I often in my work talk about how God created us brilliantly and his brilliance shines through us. So as I hear you talking, I'm like, oh, she's talking my language, because I want people to be brilliant. Yes. And you help them define and identify what God's brilliance is in their lives, and then how to complement that in their own way, in their own life. You walk with them through that to draw out their brilliance and to be the brilliant light that Jesus has given them in the world.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah. So if someone wants to be able to do something like this and walk with you, how would they connect with you? How would they get started?
Well, if they go onto my website or send me a message on Facebook, I've also got a phone number I'll pass on to you. And I would send them an application just for a conversation, and then we would have a half-hour free style conversation and see if we're a good fit. Not, either it's right for you or it's not.
Yeah.
And, so that would be the process.
So just reach out with you with just a simple call, free, no obligation, have a conversation, and they find out a little bit about how style matters and if you're fit for them or not.
Yeah, and also give them a few ideas for them personally, whether they work with me or not. Having an interaction, I can say, hey, would you be open to feedback around whatever?
Yeah. I mean, in our short conversation, it was just amazing how much insight I gained and the big takeaway I had, it was so worth it. So I really encourage people to reach out and just grab a quick conversation with you. And I will put a link to your email address and your website in the comments of this video so that people can have a chance to reach out to you and get to know you a little bit more. I'm really excited that you joined me today, Amy, and I look forward to continuing to work together. This was really fun.
This was really fun. And I just wanted to say one more quick thing. In what I've done in other churches is I go in and work with the leadership team and present for a couple hours and have them really kind of wrestle with how they want to show up, where did they got their messages about their image, that kind of thing. And it's been really powerful.
You know what? I love that you say that, like how they want to show up, because that's
Mm-hmm.
a key question. I know a lot of ministry leaders have to like stand in front of an audience. Well, how do you want to show up in that audience? I talk with ministry leaders too, in terms of just like, I'm leading a team. I want to bring out the best in my team. I want to develop my team. And then, you know, they're asking the question, like, how do I show up in that meeting to really draw out the best in my team? So that's really what you're helping leaders do. And is like, how do I want to show up? Who do I want to be in this moment? And how can I be that person?
Exactly. Very well said.
I love it. Thank you so much for the time. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Annie.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.